Hi, I'm Dr. Alvarez. I'm the superintendent at Forest Park, District 91, and I cannot say enough about our STEAM labs. Prior to coming into a Forest Park District 91, one of the questions I started asking people is like, what do we stand for? And that was something that nobody really could pinpoint. And then when you say, what if we stood for something like STEAM? Immediately, the board was behind it, we had parents behind it, and children kind of envisioning like, what's that going to look like? And how do we really make sure that when we're talking about greatness and belonging at D91, STEAM labs really bring that in.
Once the ideal came about, we realized we had to assess where we were in the district in terms of what we needed. Unfortunately, a lot of times in districts, when there's limited funding, the first thing to go are all the electives in different communities, and we realized that wasn't our case. We had the resources to bring in programs for students, and it took a lot of work in terms of just meeting with different people and different stakeholders to try to get that assessment done. So that was really the first part.
And then bringing in Dr. Hubbard, we started talking about science and STEAM and got to the conversations of what is that going to look like. And as he looked around the building, saying where we could start considering having some STEAM labs and actually be defined by STEAM, and District 91 would be where they would get sparked with this information.
And from that, started reaching out to that network to say, okay, what's innovative right now in STEAM education and in STEM education? We had the opportunity to go visit other districts to see what resources they brought into their STEAM lab, and also talk to different architectural firms.
When I was a science teacher, one of the things that I wish I had was a sink. Just a sink would have made a big difference, but also you needed the science lab tables. They always would provide you just these stools, and children would get tired. There's no backs to them. There always needed to be a place for presentation for our children to really get the feel that they're like in this arena of speaking. And then you really needed an area for there to be quiet, so that if you needed to do work in partnership with anyone or alone, you could go ahead and work in those areas.
We made sure we involved students, we involved parents, we involved staff and the administration. It was a whole day process of picking out the design and the colors and the fabrics and all the small details, and that we really maximized the space so then children could really be engaged in learning in that process. It really hit home that this was going to happen for the district, and just walking the space and people were able to see, like, you know what, I see how this room's going to open up. I see how we can have students engaged here. I see how different learning activities could take place here.
So really we were starting from ground zero when it came to a district-wide STEAM curriculum. We had a team of teachers that came together along with myself and academic coaches that began to evaluate the varying STEAM programs that are out there. We reviewed each one of them extensively, and then we also went out and visited districts that were implementing each one of those curricula just to see what it was like in the hands of students and what students were actually doing and how rigorous the learning was. So we ultimately ended up landing on Project Lead the Way, and they have a curriculum for our 3-5 students. That's the launch program, and then our 6-8 are engaging in the Gateway curriculum. Given the fact that we're starting from ground zero, we wanted to be sure that all of our students had a consistent learning experience through 8th grade. And in order to do that, we started off with our students in 3-5 and then 6-8, all engaging in the same modules, and then we're building one different module at a time so that in 3 years, our students will have 6 different modules from 3rd grade through 8th grade.
I think it's super important to integrate STEAM skills in K-5. That's when students are most raw with their creativity. They'll make up things that I couldn't even think of. They'll use every material. They'll learn any new app. They get to play around with iPads. They get to touch robots and build them and program them. And it starts with creativity. So in my imaginary creature project, I knew that they needed to learn about habitats. They needed to learn about physical traits. Once I know that that background knowledge is there, then I start to bring in, okay, so how is this fun? How do we get them creating? How do I get cool materials like fur and feathers, and when you have fun stuff and you have fun conversations, you can get to where the kids own the project. And then you can always teach the technology skills, but you start with an idea, you start with fun materials, and then you can make a cool project.
And watching our children learn using the robotics, getting some generative AI experience and understanding the ethics and everything that goes behind it, and then complementing it with the math and the art. It allows all of our other teachers to really collaborate with one another as well and enhance the curriculum.
And then this summer we partnered with Next Wave, which is an organization here in Chicago, to support our summer university. And we have students downstairs who are engaging in lots of learning around AI and robotics and machine learning. I was down in the classroom yesterday asking the students what they were learning about AI, and one of the students was reflecting on how to train an AI bot. So it was pretty exciting to hear him talk about training this AI bot. So I know that's been a really great experience for our students.
STEAM Labs, I'm learning more AI, and we have more projects, and we're doing green screen stuff as well. We're learning construction. We have Legos there. There's a Lego wall. That's what always gets me up Monday mornings.
Well, I feel like this class is more fun because you could be creative and just be free. Because I feel like in here you could be just like yourself. You could be creative in other classes where you have actual directions. But here with the lessons, it seems more fun.
It's unfortunate that in certain communities and with certain children, a lot of STEAM resources are taken out just because they feel they need to focus on more of the academics, but people don't realize that is also the academics. Once you incorporate science, technology, engineering, the arts, and the math into it, that helps out with everything else that children really need to learn. So very fortunate that we're in a community that sees that and want to focus on that and make sure we spend our resources on that.
I've said this a lot, that our aspiring first graders going in are going to be the class of 2035. And when we picture that, that's going to go very quickly. And they are going to be knowing for a very young age the science and technology, the engineering portions of it, the math that's part of it. Now when you think about District 91, people are saying, we know there's STEAM labs. There's STEAM labs in Field Stevenson. There's a STEAM lab in Forest Park Middle School. It really has made a difference here at District 91. And honestly, I don't know how we lived without them.